When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and brilliant marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. They're the home of the #1 checkout on the planet and the not-so-secret Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales happening. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds and Skims use. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/start selling, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/start selling to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/start selling.
She needs to do a podcast since she never got her due. She's a big lesbian and a loudmouth Jew. With a gasket always ready to blow, you're listening to Judy's show. Who? Judy's show. Wait a minute, who are you talking about? Oh, she's an asshole. What is wrong with you? Oh, you suck. So long. Fuck off. Hey everyone, welcome to It's Judy's Show with Judy Gold. I'm your host, Judy Gold, and this week we have part 2 of my amazing interview with Gary Vider and his amazing, incredible, fantastic, wonderful, so many accolades podcast, #1 Dad, which we talk about on the podcast and in our conversation. I mean, I know it's Labor Day weekend and coming up. If you're in the car, I'm telling you, listen to this podcast. It's so damn good and fascinating and interesting. And I love him and he's hilarious. Okay. So that is what is coming on after I talk about several things. First of all, Elisa's getting dinner ready. So when you hear noises in the background, that's Elisa getting dinner ready. Okay. That I picked up. Anyway, I have a gig coming up this week. Thursday night, I am in Fire Island. I am flying from Hyannis. That's what I call it. Hyannis to LaGuardia. Then I'm taking an Uber to the ferry. Then I'm going to Fire Island. I'm doing a show. I think it starts at 8. And then I'm leaving on the 7:40 a.m. ferry back home to come back to Provincetown for the Labor Day weekend, so I can be with my lover, Elisa Dawn Halpern. I can't believe that it is Labor Day. I hate the end of summer. I don't know if anyone else does. I fucking hate it. I hate it so much. I love summer. I feel like I didn't start this summer until the end of June, and now it's the end of August, and yeah. I don't know. I just hate it. I really love summer. I'm a summer person. Are you a summer person? I'm a summer person. So that's that. But they call in Provincetown, they call after Labor Day the towny summer because everyone leaves and we can actually enjoy the beaches and there's not a lot of people and it's really wonderful and the water's warm. So I'm looking forward to that and playing tennis. But I do, by the way, I do have gigs coming up besides this Thursday in Ocean Grove, which is on Fire Island. I am interviewing Mary Trump at the 92nd Street Y on September 12th. And I'm scheduled to do Nightcap, Stephanie Rule, on the 20th. And then I'll be back in P-Town because we're packing up because we're renovating the house. So we have no place to stay when we come here, but we'll be fine. I'm excited. I got some of Ben's basketball game scheduled, so that's going to be fun to go see that. And yeah, I can't believe Election Day is coming up pretty damn soon. And I've been trying to listen to both sides, but they're really, I can't listen to Republican policies when they're coming out of that motherfucker's fucking, he's just so disgusting. And JD Vance is so disgusting. And Robert Kennedy Jr., what the fuck is, your father is so ashamed of you. And I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm sorry. The messenger is the important thing here. We didn't have a good messenger in Biden, and now we have a good messenger. I don't agree with everything. I thought the convention was amazing. Hirsch's parents were gut-wrenching. It really fired me up, but I don't understand, honestly, how anyone could support a convicted felon rapist. I just don't get it. And he's a horrible human being who's ripped people off over and over and over again. He is a piece of garbage. So anyway, that's what I have to say about that. What else? Oh, it was Carnival on Thursday, and there were maybe four, I think it was three people with Israel's committing genocide in the middle of the Carnival parade, which I was there with my friend Paige Hurwitz. If you see any of our posts, we were screaming and yelling. But this does not belong in a carnival parade, which is all LGBTQ. There's all gay, trans, every color of the rainbow here. They could not, and then they are marching, saying Israel's committing genocide. You would be killed. You would be fucking killed marching in this parade in any Arab nation, you fucking idiots. How dare you? So that was upsetting. That was the upsetting part of the Carnival parade. It's just misinformation. It is so much misinformation. Anyway, it's just infuriating, and it just, the joy. We've been talking about joy, a lot of joy. And that took the joy out of the parade for me. So for a few minutes, and then I got back into it. Anyway, that's it. I am in Provincetown through September 8th. I think that's right. Is that a Sunday? Sunday. Yeah, that's my last night here, and then I'm back in October. But Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, 8:30 here in Provincetown. And that's it. The high holidays are coming up. A lot going on. But who cares? Right now, you are here to listen to part 2 of my incredible conversation with the one and only Gary Vider, who is fucking fantastic. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. It's Judy's show. So you leave at 15 and you never go back.
Yeah, never go back.
Again. Inside, did you know I'm never coming back here again, or you were just like, I'll see you Christmas time?
I didn't know. I didn't necessarily know that I wasn't gonna go back, because I didn't know if my mom was leaving yet. But yeah, and so there might have been after I left once. There might have been. I'm trying to think if there was one time there, like early on, like in October, that I did come back to the house, that she might have still been there. It was very early in the boarding school, but outside of that.
Right.
I think that there was never this is the final, but it was just, now I'm like, why I don't want to ever see my father again. So, and now at that point, I was still in boarding school, so he had every right to have access to me. But I would choose not to see him I remember he came up one time, and I completely avoided any contact with him at boarding school.
Wow. So that's it. You're done with your father. He takes your dog.
So my mom, she basically collected all the stuff out of the house one day, and with the help of my sister, and to move to this house that she was staying in, now a house that it was a friend's place, and she didn't bring the dog. It's something that I've always been upset with. Why you're not bringing the dog? But she couldn't, under the circumstances of where she was going. And I was very upset with that. Now my dad has the dog, and he has full control of the dog, and he would use the dog as leverage in their divorce, saying that he would not hand him over until their divorce is finalized. And this is when I was 15. And again, my dad is very proficient in law and he knows what to do and how to, uh, elongate a court case, no problem. And he knows that will make you bleed money.
Oh,
Yeah,
delay.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what he would do. And he would represent himself in my mom's divorce case. He would then get a lawyer, then he would fire that lawyer, then take it over. So every which way. And now my mom is paying for her lawyer over time. And my dog is with my father because he again said, I can't get my dog back until this divorce is finalized. But yet he is the one who is delaying everything. And part of the manipulation on his part is because he wants me to be like, Mom, settle this with my father. Yeah. So I can get my dog back. So she's hearing that pressure. And then,
he's just,
piece of shit.
What a
And again, my
fucking
only
dick.
during that
I hate
time.
him so much. Like, you don't even know how much I hate him. Your only friend. Okay. So then you graduate, you go to college. Where
University
did you go to
at Buffalo.
college? Oh, that's great. It's so fucking cold up there. Okay. And you find yourself doing some stupid shit and you go, what the fuck am I doing?
Right. I mean, I was living a life where, again, I grew up around a great liar, one of the best, a guy who everything again was cutting corners and scheming. So when I got to college, this was also, by the way, so I went to regular public high school, then I went to boarding school, and then my senior year, my mom met my stepfather. And I decided to move in with them. So I went to 3 high schools. Then I went to college. So by the time I got to college, I was already in my 4th school. I've been around, I did hockey. I've done sports. I've been meeting a lot of people and stuff.
Right.
So I felt very comfortable in new settings. And then so when it came down to, getting around in college, I was like, oh, since I know people and I'm good at meeting people, let me sell drugs. And that would be a quick way to make some cash. And I think I could get away with it because I look very innocent. I think I could get away. I don't think people would suspect me as the person that was doing it, cops at least. And I could kind of keep a low profile. So I started just selling drugs and I was selling cocaine and I was making good money doing it. Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Very elegant. Very smart. The party
Mazel
drug.
tov,
So
yeah.
I was selling it and I was making good money. But that was getting me through college financially. My mom, she didn't have much money. Now she was paying for my tuition, but I wasn't ever asking her for more than she would. Now I had to still take money from her to keep up appearances, but she wasn't giving me enough really to actually live a life in college. So I made sure that I could, live nicely, and I was able to sell drugs, and I'd sold it for about 3.5 years when I was in college. Yeah.
Oh,
but
great.
it was my dad's doing where I saw an opportunity to that I could do and get away with it. And I did.
Where are your sisters
They
at this
are both of them are already now starting they already have their careers and their jobs. And then, one is the oldest one was in finance. And then the other one was doing mortgages.
It's interesting that they end up being so successful in their careers, watching their mother, it's like, I'm not going to fucking end up like
you're not going to be at that point, it's like you're, it's kind of one of those things that I'm not going to be a stay-at-home mom.
And I'm going to have make
not
my
rely
own
on
money.
anybody.
And, I love your sisters. I love their episodes. I love the way they talk to you. I mean, I know you didn't speak to one of them for a while because she had contact with your dad and then, or your father or whatever the fuck he is. But I really love that. There's so much love between the siblings, and the fact that you all went through this shit together. I love them. They're very, very supportive.
I was gonna say this. Also, the interesting part of not only my sisters and I going through this, but me telling the story of everything we went through. A lot of people reach out and tell me their situation and what they went through with their parents. And
I bet.
I mean, I was hoping that would happen because you want this podcast to have an emotional effect on people. But then when I get these messages, I'm like, oh wow, the fact that people are connecting with my situation and saying, I don't like to say this, but like brave, because I'm also an entertainer. I wanted this to be entertaining too.
I mean, you pulled a Manny. You said, I'm going to take this and I'm going to, but you did good. Like, you're doing good. It's not it's the truth. It's like, yeah,
It's like
hey,
it's like reverse
father, you're yeah,
exploitation. My dad did it with me with
yes,
the Sports Illustrated
right,
and using me to get to these
right.
things.
But yours is
Yes,
based in
my
truth, and his is based in
right. And I
fiction.
was gonna say this, one thing I always wondered, and I never got to ask him, was that you had this elaborate lie with Sports Illustrated. Why didn't you just say, like, call up Sports Illustrated and say that I'm a kid, and then he takes great pictures. Can you see if there's a job opportunity for us there? And they probably would have agreed when you think about it. Like that would have
Right.
been probably that's the simplest way.
Were you ever nervous, like,
Oh,
interviewing
I would get nervous.
these
Yeah. But
huge.
that helped me
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
what we're doing now. Like doing comedy because it gave me the
Oh,
confidence. Oh, I
yeah.
can meet whoever. You're at the Cellar and Chris Rock is there, and you're, oh well, I've already
Mhm.
met famous people. I've been around this
Right.
situation. I understand how to act, and so you got to get those nerves out of the way. Just like getting on stage for the first time, and more you do it, the better you're at
Yep.
it.
This week's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Now, I am a huge advocate for therapy. I talk therapy. I like physical therapy too, but I'm talking about talk therapy. I've been in therapy since I'm 18 years old. There is nothing better. Nothing better. And it is a stressful time. We just had an election, it's the holidays, and we're going to have to spend family time or not spend family time. It's a decision you might make in therapy because therapy is really the best way, the only way to process your feelings, anxiety, depression, everything. I've been doing it for over 40 years. I know what I'm talking about. So if you've been thinking about starting therapy, if you thought about it for years and just didn't do it, please give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient. It's flexible. It's suited to your schedule. You go to betterhelp.com/JudyGold. You fill out a brief questionnaire. You get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch your therapist at any time for no additional charge. I've done that multiple times in my life, switch therapists. It works. It works. And I know a lot of people who have used BetterHelp and they love it. So find comfort this December with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/JudyGold today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JudyGold. You're welcome. You graduate college. What do you do? You've been doing stand-up, 13, 14,
Now,
14 years? Something
16 years. 16 years.
15?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. 16 years. Ugh, you're such a
Yeah.
baby. You're such a little
Yeah.
16-year-old baby. 16 years. So what did you do before you did
Oh my, I
stand-up?
was just plugging along. I was doing this job. Initially, I started a job at a business that dealt with insurance claims, and you had to sell, I guess, underwriters and different like insurance people this system. I have no idea what I was doing. I was there for a year, but I had to
Uh-huh.
sell this system that I had no interest in understanding or understanding what even the people I
Right.
was trying to sell to actually needed it for. And I lasted about a year. I was making no money. I think it was like $500 a week before taxes. And
Oh,
I am
God.
23 years old and I just moved to Astoria, Queens. So I'm trying, but it gave me access to be in the city. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to live close enough to the city so I could start really getting into doing open mics and performing stand up.
I mean, I started on a
Mm.
dare when I was 19. How did you know I'm funny and I want to go do open mics? Like, were you watching stand up? Were you,
I was watching stand up a lot,
yeah.
and I watched it in college. And before though, I always thought I wanted to be a writer, and then I started talking to people as I was in college. And Brian Kiley, he came to my boarding school, actually. Brian Kai, great writer for Conan. He came to my boarding school to perform. And this is back when I was, so I was 15. And I went up to him after the show, and I knew that he worked for Conan. Conan was my favorite. I love Conan. That was my guy. And I thought Brian was so funny, and he gave me his card, and I have this Brian Kiley card that has the Conan logo on it. I thought it was the coolest thing. And that was when I was 15. And then I want to say, so it's like my sophomore year of college. So maybe this is like 3 or 4 years later, I email Brian and ask him if, is there a way that I could get like an internship at Conan, and he puts me in touch with the people there. Like, he remembered who I was from them, because I'm sure I think I was the only kid that went up to him that enthusiastic.
Was like,
and so he got me in touch, and I wound up not getting that internship, but I did end up on Conan, and then Brian came back in the green room and said hello. So it was a great like full circle thing. But I did wind up getting a Daily Show internship. So I had that.
Right.
And then I didn't get a job at the Daily Show after. And then I go into this job that I just wound up not liking. And I realized that, all right, I have to kind of do open mics and then figure things out. And then I lose that job. But the job that I lost, it was too demanding in time. I had to get there at like 8:30 in the morning, and I was going to open mics and not getting back until 1 in the morning. And it was just 8:30, and then you would have to stay till 5:30. So they get them doing that half an hour thing, before 9 and after 5, they're adding an extra hour to your day. And I hated it. I'm sitting at a desk, and hey, you could think that you're in your head, you're like, oh, I'll write jokes when I'm and think of jokes when I'm at this desk, but you need to do really nothing. When you're writing comedy or you're thinking about comedy, you kind of need your own headspace. You can't be thinking about it and then somebody is asking you to do something.
And then you have to I did the same thing. I was a typesetter. I worked at a bunch of magazines, inputting. Yeah, and I would just get up and go in the bathroom or the elevator.
Yeah, I would take long dumps.
Like, okay. I practice. Yeah. And I was just like, I gotta think about. And then I just leave and go do stand-up.
And the office setting in these places, it bothered me. So the show The Office was the big when I was started the job, was the biggest.
Yeah.
And everyone was laughing at Steve Carell, and because he's saying these hilarious things and funny and inappropriate. And then I would come in, and I'm out of college. I'm saying inappropriate things too. And they're like, you can't say that. I'm like, well, you're laughing at The Office. And I thought I was funny back then. Yeah. I'm like, you guys don't even realize in my head, I'm like, you guys don't even realize what you have here. I'm stuff that's not, I'm funny too, but
can you imagine how much trouble you would get in now for the shit you said?
Oh, now it would be not good.
Forget it.
But I hated that job. Yeah. And then for the best thing that ever happened, they fired me, and I then went online at it was a Caroline's contest for like whatever it was they were running at Caroline's Comedy Club for who's the funniest new comic or whatever. And I'm waiting online, and I'm online behind this comic, and he tells me that he works for a dog walking company. And I was like, oh, I would love to do that. And he goes, oh, well, actually, one of my friends is leaving this company. You should meet the owner. And I met this owner, and he gave me this new dog walking route, and I started dog walking. And from there, I was like, oh, I this is a much better situation than I've ever had. And the timing and the being on my own, and I could actually think of jokes as I was walking. And I eventually stopped working for this guy and started my own.
And I love that you went, because you missed your dog too.
Talk about full circle is that I never thought, like, when I stopped, I never got to see we didn't mention that, but I never got to see my dog again because my parents, what my dad did and delaying the divorce. But
fucking yes.
So in my head, I was like, I will never have another dog again. But then I started walking dogs, and I started my own company, and I really care for dogs. And now I have 2 dogs. And two boys, but it was something that I couldn't believe.
And a beautiful wife who was a dog walker, who also worked in the company.
Who loved dogs. Ali is as identical of a person to me as it could be, and she has her own stuff that she grew up with. So we fit great together. And And then, yeah, she started working for the company that I started, and then she just took off with it and ran it as
Right.
comedy got bigger.
You did Conan, you did America's Got Talent, and you're lucky enough to be on with Howard Stern when he was doing it, who is probably the only person. Well, isn't Howie Mandel
Mandel's
on
on.
it
He was on. He
now?
was on in my year
Yeah,
too. So it was Howie, Howard Stern.
yeah, yeah. Howie but Howard
Yeah,
really knows
yeah, and
comedy.
that was surreal.
No,
That was super
yeah.
cool. I couldn't, I'm on stage,
I just
and
love
he's
him.
just a
Yeah.
wonderful speaker, and his voice, and he had the nicest things to say about me, and he really enjoyed my comedy, so that was special.
Yeah, you're a great
Thank
joke
you, Judy.
writer. Such a good joke writer. You know I love you. You do that, you and Allie. When we were in Aruba, Allie was pregnante, and you've been steadily. It's a whole different. It's so interesting as someone who's been in the business for a long time. I see all you guys, and you're mostly, and you just really help each other out and go on the road with one another. And women comics never really had those opportunities, but now it's changing a little bit. And, I love that. I love that you guys just take care of each other.
Well, it is tough to sell tickets. It's very hard. Yeah, and
Oh, it's awful. Yeah.
your comedy is a very and can be a very lonely thing. So, and
Yep.
you're in solitude, but at the same time, however comedy has taken form, it's come to a point where you can bring people along, and I just happen to find friends along the way that I really care about, and they cared about me, and we think each other are funny, and they're at a
Right.
place where, I could have, me come along, Nate and Sam, and they're doing theaters,
Yeah.
and that's been great. And the people that have helped the most in my career are comics. It's more so than, and
Of course.
I remember hearing that is a kind of a thing, but you don't know. You look at somebody's situation, especially when you're growing up, like, oh my God, that guy's friends with that guy, and then he gets that, and it's deservingly so. But you're like, oh well, that's not going to happen to me. But you never, as time goes on, things happen in people's career, and you never know what's going to take off for certain people. But
Oh, I know. And there's so many it's
yeah,
ebb and flow, baby. Ebb
and all you want is
and
just
flow.
to be around friends that are like you, and that you find funny. And if you're around that,
Right.
yeah,
And you respect.
then it
Yeah.
all works out.
And you can
Yeah.
totally mock. That's the other thing. You have to be able to fucking,
Well, I'll be with Sam. I mean, and Nate
mock them.
too. We're talking about jokes all the time. It's
Yeah.
nonstop. And back to what it's like. I mean, we were talking about it. Is if you're talking to somebody who is not in the world, it's very hard for me to concentrate. I was just at my brother-in-law's wedding, and I could talk to Allie. She gets it. But me talking to somebody
Yeah.
else, I'm hearing them, and if they say something that sticks out, I'll be like, oh, okay, maybe I could put that in some sort of a joke or whatever. Or
Right.
that was such a silly, stupid thing that you just said, and it's in the back of my mind now permanently until I could turn it into something. But other than that, I have no interest. I can't. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
It's just, I know,
It's
I'm the
bad.
same way. It's so hard too, because I was at a wedding too, and it's just like, hey, what's next? What are you doing? Hey, where are you performing? And it's just like, no, I don't want to talk
I agree.
about.
Yeah.
You're like,
what is that?
you don't want to talk about your fucking accounting job, do you?
And I think also part of why we don't want to talk about us. I hate talking about me. Or like, what am I going to do? Brag about myself? I'm whatever I say, it's not going to sound good. Not only that, I feel part of why I don't want to talk about myself is because I get enough attention. I don't need to be when I go into a room.
Exactly.
I don't need to be the funniest.
I don't want to be the center. Yes,
I just want to be in the background, and then I'll observe, and I don't need to do anything. I don't even want to be in the conversation. I'll just hear you speaking to that person, and that's good enough for me.
And I don't, and then everyone is like, you have to be friendly.
Yeah.
And, and it's so much fucking work. It's like, I don't want to talk about this. like, I just want to
Yeah.
avoid people. Like, I don't. And then they start talking about other comics and
Yep.
shows they saw, and do you like Mrs. Maisel, and do you like Hacks, and do I want to fucking stick an ice pick in my eye? Shut the fuck up. So your stand up is really killing it. The pod. How many more
Okay,
episodes do we
so
have
the
of this
7th
pod?
episode, yeah.
Well, this is
Yeah,
going to be on.
so
Yeah,
7
it's seven
episodes are out
episodes
right. No, it's
altogether.
10 episodes altogether. So
There are some things that I'm only up to
okay,
7.
yeah, and they're 10 episodes total.
Without giving anything away, I just want to say I fucking hate your father so much. I think he is such a dick and a half, and I know, you and Allie got married.
Mhm.
You had Sully, and now you have
Mhm.
another baby,
Yeah.
Tyson. Oh,
And he fits the profile too. He's just like, he's crazy.
they're so
Mhm.
becoming a father. I mean, I know becoming a mother, and my kids are grown now, but even now, I think, you think back to your parents when you
Absolutely.
were that age, and as your kids are getting, I mean, I'm sure when Sully gets to be 5, and you look at Sully and say, you're going to be like, how could my father fucking
Yeah,
do
it's
this?
for sure. I mean, I see you know what it is? Because Sully also right now I look at my old pictures of me as a kid, I see me. I mean, he has red hair, but aside from that, he's a spitting image of me. And he acts very similar to me. And I remember as a kid, and he's very funny. And I'm like, why would a father put his kid through these things? Why I would never want to show him, oh, this is me stealing or me being, a schemer. I want to show him the right way. I don't want him to go to school
Right.
thinking that and taking something. Yeah.
Or being embarrassed, or wanting to
Exactly.
hide, or,
He's so impressionable and you're watching it,
yeah.
and that's the part where I was like, I am so young. And, this goes back to people saying, "Oh, I remember I could relate to your situation." I have people reaching out because they have kids who are between, 9 to 13, and they feel like, "Oh my God, I can't believe your dad did this," because they're also looking at their kids that are the same age that I was when
Of
I was
course.
doing these. It's the odd thing. So it took me a while to be doing this podcast. I pitched it back in 2020, and then I'm like, I think this is how it's going to play out. I think the goal is that I'm going to be able to track my father down and then get him on the podcast. But I didn't know if these things are going to actually take place. And then I start going through the
Right.
process, and I'm interviewing different people, and it is tough. It is a tough thing to hear, and
Right.
I have to constantly listen to the audio and making sure, and that you're reliving these things that you really blocked out.
I mean, have the memories
Yeah.
come
Oh my
flooding
God,
back
yes.
to you?
And now it's, now after I have it recorded, I can't even believe so many of the things. There's so many things that my dad did that even when I do podcasts, there's so many things I want to say in one session because they're endless. They're endless schemes. They're things that you can't even believe. And there's also things that I had to leave out for legal reasons, because you have a legal team that goes over and you're like, all right, this is gonna be too defamatory. We're never gonna be able to get approval on this. So they're amazing. Those are amazing stories too. I wish that I could include those things, but at the same point, you gotta just play
Right.
ball.
There's this, when you become a parent, there's this need
Mhm.
to protect your child from everything bad. And it's like he went full force, like putting you in these
Yeah,
positions, dangerous
totally. Across the board,
positions,
family dangerous positions. You're not paying people or giving people their
Yeah.
money if like he would, he owed a lot of people money.
Like,
He owed people money or wasn't delivering on goods. And there are people that would come to our house. I remember a particular situation, somebody pounding on the door, and then my dad has to go outside, and I'm looking through the blinds and just seeing, somebody yelling at my dad on our front lawn. So it's
Mhm.
people would track him down. So and you didn't know who he was pissing off. And it's very well, somebody could come in there and you have a family and you have somebody in your house before you know, when you walk in, like he was putting himself in dangerous situations and dealing with dangerous people too.
Right. And also, how do you not think of how your actions affect other people? Like, I don't understand that. Fucking asshole. I hate him so much.
Tis the season to share the joy with the Instax Mini 40 Instant Camera. With a classic design, you can capture each and every festive moment and print them out on the spot. Make this holiday season unforgettable and gift the Instax Mini 40 Instant Camera. Don't just take, give. Visit instaxus.com to shop.
I have a question that really I wanted to ask. Can you tell a bullshitter immediately? Do you have a bullshit detector?
So it goes back. I said it before, is that everything is in someone's actions. So yeah, first off, the easiest way to tell a bullshitter is you just think that everybody's bullshitting. So start there, and then have them prove to you that they're not. So if somebody says, for example, I'm very successful in finance, be like, okay. And then you have one nugget that they told you that they're saying is factual. And then you're going to have to figure it out over time. I'm going to doubt that, but I want to be like, prove to me now that you are good at finance. What are you doing? Now, if you want to go somebody like Bernie Madoff, the biggest way to figure out if someone is, I think, lying is that what he would do is he was telling the truth partially. He was giving people returns that were whatever 8% higher than most people. So then he was building up a truth, but now it's like you have to figure out. You have to look at the big scope of it. Like, is everybody getting their money? Oh no. So, and also whenever somebody's saying that they could give you more money than somebody else, that's always a big detector too, that it's a scam. Nothing's ever that clear. There's not one magic person in anything that is collecting money. They're doing something illegal. So I would say that mostly just seeing their actions, if they're bullshitting. It's not words that are going to actually be like, oh, this person is telling the truth. I don't think even if you look down when you're saying something, you're not going to be able to tell.
Yeah. How has this experience, your life experience, translated? I mean, we live in a bullshit industry. Everyone is so fucking full of shit. How has that translated into the way you do business with managers and agents? And
right.
Do you feel like you're better equipped? Do you call them out on shit? Like, how do you do?
I think you go with
business?
the flow, because I mean, you call somebody out. A lot of times, like a manager, hey, if they want to manage you, I guess the idea is that they have your best interest at heart. And once they stop working, it is a business relationship. So if they're not doing a good job, then you got to get rid of them. But yeah, as far as, are they bullshitting? It's like, again, it just really goes back to the actions. Oh, I'm going to get you this. And then they don't get you it. It's like, okay, well, that's a strike for sure, because you said that you can, and then you didn't. So it's just figuring out if they could fulfill what they're actually saying. But we're living in a world that is, doing comedy, that you're being told things and that it doesn't necessarily always come to fruition.
Duh. But, they do bullshit and lie all the time.
Part of their, that's what they do best. That's part of it, what it is.
Yeah. When do you think you will tell your kids about how you grew up, about their quote unquote grandfather, who I mean, if I could go into the podcast and punch him, like some of the shit that comes out of his mouth, it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, do you have a soul or a heart or a feeling? When do you think you'll tell your kids about this? I was thinking,
so my mom, she's married to my stepfather. Eventually they're going to find out that he isn't their blood
Right.
grandfather. And I guess
Mm-hmm.
it would be like little things along the way. So I assume that probably
Right.
happens around 7-ish. You're like, and then you go
Right.
and be like, oh yeah, that's not. And then,
Why does Johnny have a
yeah,
grandfather who blah,
right.
blah, blah, blah?
But,
Yeah.
yeah, so, it also they also might not ask the question for a long time. So they might not find out till they're like 13. But now it's,
Yeah.
again, like by the time I was 9, I was running a full-fledged scam with my dad. I'm trying to think of like, does that hurt them? Do I want them to know? So maybe, I guess the
Yeah.
longer I could hold out on it.
You got
Yeah,
to follow your gut. Yeah. Were you bar
I was
mitzvahed?
in Israel.
Oh, in
Yeah.
Israel. You went
At
to
the Wailing
Israel.
Wall, and I was bar mitzvah there. My dad made it happen, and he got the Chabad rabbi. He knew another Chabad rabbi that was there, and I
Right.
got bar mitzvah at the Wailing Wall. And of course, what my dad did was send out, because I didn't have a party. I didn't have a party that was in the
Yeah.
United States. He still sent out invitations so he could get money sent to me.
That's what I was getting. That's what I was getting.
Yes,
Yeah.
which I never saw. So the money.
Oh
So people
my
sent money
God.
because they felt obligated. Here it is. They're like, oh, now I got to send them money because he's
Yeah.
getting bar mitzvahed, and there's no party. So my dad, I never saw any of that money.
And did your sisters get bat
My
mitzvahed?
middle sister Jamie, she did not have a bat mitzvah, and my older sister Danny, she had a bat mitzvah, and she had a party that was in the U.S. in New York. Yeah,
Wow. How come
I don't
Jamie didn't
know.
get bat mitzvahed?
Maybe it's just like timing of everything that's going on.
Yeah. Maybe they didn't have any money. Gary, I love you. I think you're the greatest. I love your family. I love
I love you.
Allie.
I love you guys.
I love, you're just the best. I can't thank you enough. Please, everyone, listen to number one. I've been telling
Thank you.
everyone because, I'm in P-Town and the ride
Yeah,
back
yeah.
to New York is so long. And I tell everyone, you listen to this. It's so good. Please listen. It's on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your
Spotify,
podcasts.
Apple Podcasts. That's the easiest way. And then it's hashtag
Yeah.
#1dad. And then it's brought to you by Will Ferrell has a podcast company called Big Money Players. But
I know, like you're in
I've
with all
never
these
met
bigwigs.
Will Ferrell, but I guess it's on his
Right.
radar, so that's good.
Right. Well, it should be. It's great. Do you think it's
I would love it.
I mean,
I'm working on putting it together as a show. I think it definitely has legs, and it's just finding somebody. I mean, we were at the cellar the other day, and Apatow was there, so I know he knows about it, and so we're just trying to.
Well, can I be a writer or play like the head of the sisterhood who's your mother's best friend? Please. I can't do this anymore. I'm 61 years old. I'm on, hey, how you doing? I got to get a fucking job.
You're terrific on screen, so absolutely.
Thank you. Thanks, Garilla. Gary, thank you. Please send my love to Allie and Sully and Tyson and your mother, and tell your father to go fucking fuck himself.
If I see him, I mean, we might be in court next time I see him. So let's.
I want to go. I want to sit there. Okay. Thank you so much for listening to It's Judy Show with Judy Gold. How great is Gary Vider? Listen to that podcast. Go see him live. He's so amazing. He's such a great guy. And hopefully we'll be going to Aruba together. This podcast is produced by Laura Vogel. It is edited by Colin Schmaling, marketed by Haley Dercher, and the theme song written by my friend, Lauren Gold. Who is so fucking talented. He's on tour with Earth, Wind & Fire right now. He's just amazing. Follow him, too. Lauren, Loren Gold. You get backstage at the piano at these amazing concerts, Chicago and Earth, Wind & Fire. He's so talented. And The Who. So anyway, that's it. Again, I'll be in Fire Island on Thursday the 29th and August 30th. God bless, rest in peace. May her memory forever be for a blessing, which it is my mother's birthday. She would be 102 and definitely complaining. Definitely. So I miss her every day. Still go to call her. Still, you land safely. I would call my mother, but not anymore. So cherish the time you have with your parents. I don't know what else to say except happy Labor Day. I can't believe the summer's over. But it really isn't. It's really not over till September 22nd. So fuck all of you people. And I can still wear white too if I want to, because I can do whatever the fuck I want. That's it. I don't know what else to tell you. Thank you again so much for listening. I love you all. Please subscribe and leave a review. Please subscribe and leave a review. Please, please, please. I beg you, beg you, beg you, beg you. And make it 5 stars. Very important. And that's it. I don't know what else to tell you except I love you. And thank you so much for listening. And as we always say, so long.